says,
If we're just a spark, a candle in the
This call is from. This call will be recorded at
3 minutes to hear from Roman, and then we're going to continue.
block this call and all future calls. Press that to reject this call. Hang up now.
No, this is Roman Shirley. Hi, look. Oh. They hung up. No, I didn't hit anything. I hadn't hit it yet. All right, well, I really hope he calls back. I'm gonna give you, Lauren's gonna have my phone. If poor Sterlinghoff calls back. So Roman Sterlinghoff is trying to call to speak from prison tonight. And if he calls with Lauren, just interrupt and grab me. Oh, the worst. Okay. Back to this beautiful woman. Haley Stevens, what district is she in? 11. What does that mean? Oakland County, Michigan. Is anybody here from Oakland County, Michigan? Okay. So you guys love her and you voted for her. Okay, so let's, I just want to hear this special message from her, especially close to my heart after hearing about the Mohawk panel and medical freedom. Let's play it.
Hey, Junior, his trunk is bad on science. Okay. And on a year in people, under his watch, families are less safe. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and life-saving research, including right here in Michigan, is being gutted. RFK Junior is the biggest self-created threat to our health and safety. How can I will not say why, when this man does decades of medical progress. Enough is enough, and that's why I'm pushing to impeach RFK Jr. Thank you, God. We can talk to get help, safety, and the future of every Michigan because our health, our science, and our future are worth
So this bitch is running for Senate. I'm sorry to be crass. Anyway, I don't think you should vote for her. You can make up your mind, but I'm very excited to introduce Senate candidate Mike Rogers, who is not Haley Stevens. Mike, thank you so much for coming up tonight. I really appreciate it.
And by the way, can we give Lauren a round of applause? You don't have to go back and remember when she is getting the crops. Yeah, but we can advocate for you and your husband after November. It's looking forward to it. I want to thank a friend of mine who is here with you all and been part of your group for a while. Keeps me on the straight and narrow. Will Jackson is here. He has been very helpful to me. Trust me, when I get out of line, Will, aren't you letting me know? That's right. Well, first of all, thank you very much. If you saw who that is, that's the normal of the 3 Democrats running to be the nominee for the Democrats. Think about what they're doing with Maha. They're trying to impeach the guy who actually is trying to make our food safer. They're trying to impeach the guy who's trying to bring down our prescription costs. They are trying to impeach the
Thank you. All right, thank you everyone. The person phone cuts off at 9 o'clock. So I want to call on to the stage Lauren Rodriguez, who is the wife of Keone Rodriguez, one of the co-founders of Samurai Wallets. Keone is serving in federal prison right now. I am fighting really hard, and so is she, to get them out of prison. I want to bring up Lynn Ulbrich, who you all know, the mother of Ross Ulbrich, who has been freed thanks in large part to the responses of the people in this room and your advocacy. Thank you, guys. The two lawsuits that showed how important it was, that made the right people very angry. And then I'm looking for Mark Edge. If you can come up, thank you so much, and advocate for Ian Freeman. Mark is Ian's radio show co-host. Ian Freeman is also in prison, which is really awful. We're going to talk about how you advocate for these people. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the cases, we're going to talk about the background of the cases. And, what are our next steps moving forward? I will share a little bit about the next step, but I'm going to turn it over to Mark right now.
Thank you very much. Well, my longtime business partner, Ian Freeman, we got together and did a radio program back in November 2002. That radio program turned into pretty much the first libertarian radio program to go national on a big level. We ended up on 300 radio stations over time. On December the 28th, 2010, a man called in and talked about magic internet money, Bitcoin, and we kind of passed it off, but that show was heard by a man named Gavin Andreessen, who at the time was the head developer of Bitcoin. He drove up from his house in Massachusetts to talk to us about Bitcoin and explain it a bit more. And we were the first media in the world to discuss Bitcoin, the first ad venue in the world to accept cryptocurrency for ads, and his first purchase. So lots happened that day. Then we talked about there wasn't much going on. So maybe, anyway, Ian and I got very excited about it. We helped found an organization called Bitcoin Non-Bombs. We organized our radio program at the church because we considered it to be a moral teaching platform. I'm of the opinion that libertarianism is best described as a religion, not as a political philosophy. And so, we considered Bitcoin to be an outreach of our church, a sacrament. And he outreached to lots of people on a website called Local Bitcoins. And he had 5,000 transactions. He had 5,000 five-star reviews and many more transactions than that. So apparently a lot of people were happy with buying Bitcoin from him. And well, the feds weren't happy about it. They locked him up, gave him 8 years in federal prison for selling Bitcoin without a license, effectively, and tax evasion, but, it's even more complicated. So, yeah, I'd love it if we went to freeiannow.org and signed our petition, getting him out of prison. We also advocated for the release of a man named Roth Albrecht, and then came on the show many years ago, and so glad that he got out.
And we're two of Ross's greatest advocates in terms of spreading the word. And I went on Big Talk Live many times. And always a friendly and supportive voice there. And a lot. It was a long fight to get Ross out. Acknowledge my friend Angela McArdle here, who spiked the football there with and President Trump, miracle, granted him an unconditional pardon. And Ross is a free man, which shows it can be done. That's what I really wanted, the point I really want to make, because the odds were pretty low, probably zero. And but Ross is free. And gotta be that. It's that we can do this. It's not right. I mean, Ross made a point that prisons are for, to protect us. Well, I'm really not afraid of running into Ian Freeman or Andy Rodriguez in a dark alley where they're going to hurt. It's ridiculous. Why are these peaceful innovators in cages? This is wrong. This is unconstitutional. The 8th Amendment of the Bill of Rights prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. This is cruel. And we're also wasting some of our best minds. They're smart. I certainly couldn't do what they do.
I barely can, I don't even understand Bitcoin. Well, not Bitcoin, no, but, we're wasting them. Why are we wasting our geeks? Why are we wasting them? It's stupid. Here we have these people who have so much to give and contribute and are being warehoused in cages, essentially, and wasted. And, that haven't hurt anyone, that are not violent. So, this is wrong, this is un-American, and I recently read that, the Trump administration is considering giving widespread clemency of 250 pardons and, commutations to commemorate our 250th birthday of the country. This is being floated, please, do it, and have it be our crypto people among them. And the thing is, Trump already declared the war on crypto over, but we have these POWs sitting in there, in cages. This is right. And we have a voice, we've proven with Ross's release that we can have an effect. And so I, want to say, let's do it. Let's get them out of there. This isn't right.
Yeah, as Lynn said, the war on crypto is not over until the prisoners for free, and there's a lot of men sitting in cages. One of those men is my husband, Keone Rodriguez. Him and his partner and co-founder of San Varnell, William Hill, are currently in federal prison. They didn't defraud anyone, steal from anyone, never hurt anyone, but they are in a cage. Samurai Wallet was a non-custodial open source Bitcoin wallet that has some added privacy features. Privacy features for transactional privacy like you would expect from the legacy system. Legacy system, your barista cannot know your entire net worth or who you donated to last. On Bitcoin network, as we all know, single ledger, and anyone with an internet connection can learn everything about your finances. And that's what Samurai Wallet was working on, was helping regular people, dissidents, freedom fighters across the world protect themselves. This was defensive technology, and the government came after them and charged them with 2 conspiracy charges. Anyone knows about charges, that's a favorite. And I'm here to, raise awareness, let you guys know that this has happened. This case was brought under President Biden. This was part of the Choke Point 2.0, hatred for Bitcoin and for freedom technology in general. The prosecutors in our case even went to FinCEN, who's the regulator in charge of enforcing the laws, and asked them, do you think Samurai Wallet is in violation? And FinCEN said emphatically no, yet they brought charges anyways. So I'm here to ask you to, care about this case, to help me get it out there that, they're still in prison and that the war on crypto, war on Bitcoin is not over.
Yeah, I saw over and over in our case where the prosecutors wouldn't let, the law get in the way of their prosecution. More good sense. They were going to get their man. And I think that it's worth mentioning that I think our judicial system is broken generally. When you consider that the likelihood of getting to a jury trial is less than 1% from the amount of people arrested to the amount of people who end up in a jury trial, you're talking about way less than 1%. Something like 0.3% end up in a jury trial. of those, and I can't speak to a state level, any given state level, but I can speak at a federal level, of that 0.3%, 66%, so 0.1% of people are found not guilty at trial. 1/3 of people are found not guilty at a federal level. 2/3 are found guilty. Now, you would think that the people who fought all the way to the end, through all the difficulties, the years of sitting in jail in some cases, just to take their trial and be heard by their peers, those people might be more likely to be more than half of them would be not guilty. But no, juries find them guilty. And this is what I'm really kind of coming to is, you know, if I had something important I wanted to do, I'd go find an expert. If I was going to do brain surgery, I'd want to find a guy who had done some brain surgeries before, a guy who'd gone to school for it. The last thing I would want was 12 ignoramuses poking around inside my head saying, cut here, cut there. These people have no business deciding what the law is. And I'm sick of the notion that we should somehow, I would rather be judged by 3 bureaucrats and moo-moos than I would by 12 idiots that have watched too much Law and Order. We're not getting justice out of our judicial system. I can't tell you how to fix it, but I can tell you it is thoroughly broken.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any trial attorneys in the room? Any trial attorneys? Okay, so like a brief summary of how it works in these cases at the federal level and why Keone and Bill ended up taking a plea deal is you present your facts and evidence, ideally, and the prosecutor presents their facts and evidence, and then the jury decides. But the way that it actually works is the judge, who's a Biden or maybe Obama appointee, or sometimes even a Clinton appointee, they hate you. They hate Bitcoin. They hate libertarianism. They pledge allegiance to the deep state, and they're deadly serious about it. And they see your facts, your case, your discovery, everything you have in your defense, and they say, nah, we're not going to let that in. And that's how it works in trial. You go to trial, and you have none of your evidence that you've spent thousands, sometimes millions of dollars on your attorneys to gather and carefully comb through and fact find and build your strongest defense. It's all thrown out at the last minute, and you just have to go forward and try to fight their narrative. It's really gross. And so then you're faced with a situation where it's like, well, do I take a 5-year plea deal? Or do I just leave myself to the mercy of this, barbaric judge and totally ignorant jury that's not a jury of my peers, that doesn't know what's going on, and here's that I'm like enabling terrorists, and then I get 25 to 30 years. And those are the situations that these guys are up against, and that's why Ross was delivered such a brutal sentence. The judge was like, oh, well, we're going to punish you, and that's what Roman Sterling talked about. His attorneys were supposed to be here tonight, but they had flight cancellations like many of our other members from New York and New Jersey due to the storms. Tor and Mike are like true believers. They're fantastic crypto and Bitcoin attorneys. They really know their stuff. And Roman Sterling is sitting in prison. He's got a 12-year sentence. He's like Mr. Rogers. He has a YouTube channel about like being a life coach and helping people. And they paint him like he's like a North Korean terrorist. It's insane. And then they also reference Ross Ulbricht's case in his trial. They hate Bitcoin. So that's what we're up against. Now, what do? How do we actually overcome that? I think it's kind of challenging sometimes for libertarians to do this, but you have to build bridges and work with other people. That's why I'm invited. My job is here. And he was so kind and gracious. And thank you all so much for being so kind and gracious to him. Because getting him and other people like him in positions of influence to meet Lauren and to meet Lynn, and he didn't meet Mark, but I pointed Mark out and explained Ian's whole case and was like, this is Ian's former co-host, and I was like, Roman Sterling, I was going to call in, and he's listening, and he's like, that's messed up. Let me help you. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. And I don't care how much hate I get from it, from other people who want to argue about like dress codes and libertarian autism. This is the real work. And you guys have to be here tonight to make a huge contribution. Like you impress them. Regardless of how you vote, you know, I'm not pressuring you to vote a certain way, but just by showing up and being friendly and putting on your best face, like you did so much. So I want to thank you guys for helping us move the ball down the end zone. Whether you intended to or not, you did tonight. That's how we do it. You've got to shake hands with people who you might disagree with. Maybe you hate their foreign policy. Maybe you hate some of their economic policy. Just grin, smile, bear it. Thank you for coming. Can you help us get these people out of prison? That's all it takes. And they are like shocked and delighted, by the way, when you invite them and you reach out to them. They think that you're like, oh, well, we never want to talk to them. And I'm like, oh, I have a favorite. And they're like, really? And they're kind of asking them for stuff. They're just so impressed we want to talk to them. So that's how we do it. The other thing that I really need you guys to do, everybody who walked in should have seen postcards that said free Ian and that said free samurai or free Keone. You need to sign those postcards and leave them in the brown box because those are all going straight to the president. And I need your name in your handwriting on it, and we will make sure that the correct address is in and we will get the postage. One of us on the stage, Lauren and I, will make sure that the postage gets on. Bonnie Freeman, who will be here Saturday night, there's enemies of the state party. She will also help make sure the Ian ones get there. The White House, Mar-a-Lago, the administration, they need to hear from you. They have heard from me. I have advocated at CPAC. I have a direct line. I call Cash Patel. I just call him up. Hi. He's very busy, you know, so he's not like super chatty. I call up lots of cabinet secretaries and people in the White House. They want to hear from you, not just me. So we need to show them that it matters. This is a group effort. And the way that you all did it for Roth was incredible. It was incredible. I know that you have it in you to do it again.
What I want to say is that for all of his faults, and they are myriad, Donald Trump likes to give pardons. He's at his heart a nice guy. He wants to see people who are relatively innocent free. He knows what it's like to be targeted. I'm begging you. I think that these postcards are a brilliant idea. I did not think of it, by the way. So, please fill out one of these postcards. A handful of them will actually make it to him. They will get through the entire awful screening process, and he will see them. And when he hands out those pardons this year, and it's talked about, he's going to hand out some pardons this year. When he hands them out, I hope that Ian Freeman and Roman are on the top of that list. The samurai guys. As a matter of fact, the last time I spoke to Ian, the last thing he put in his email, he spends all his calling time on Bonnie, you can't blame him. The last thing he wrote is, don't forget the samurai wallet guys and Roman Sterling, right? Those are two separates. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know their cases as well as he does, but he cares about them as much as he cares about himself. So please fill out those postcards.
Absolutely. Ross can get out because for certain kind of trial, in fact, they say that it's a trial tax. If you end up in trial, the odds are so against you, you're lose and get a worse sentence than if you take the choose not offer. They were smart to take the plea. So many libertarians and others voted for Trump, for Ross. I'm so grateful for that. You know, people who said, I never vote, I'm never voting again, but I did it for Ross. Or I hate Trump, I held my nose, I did it for Ross. Angela is absolutely right. You've got to be smart about these things, and who has power. And absolutely, I do believe that, in fact, Trump said to Angela, and he was, hey, yeah, I'll free Ross, I like free people. You know? He needs to be encouraged to do this. He wants to do it. And the other point I want to make is, these are individuals, they deserve freedom, they should never be in there. But it's an attack on crypto too. This is an attack on cryptocurrency and alternative ways of exchange. And so this is a bigger fight than just, as important as they are, people, individuals. So it's worth picking up and doing whatever we can. And if he gets 250 cards, he needs to be praised to the skies. He'll be attacked, of course, for whatever reasons. And this is something we can do. We're powerful. We did it already. Ross is free. So it can happen.
When I think this was like 2016 kind of time frame, I remember making the promise on air that I would vote for whomever pardoned Ross Ulbricht, Edward Snowden, or Julian Assange. And I was there in the Libertarian National Convention when Angela kicked open the doors and let in the enemy, and he spoke in front of us. And when he said he would free Ross Ulbricht on day one, he'd commute his sentence day one, I left my son and I both leapt to our chairs and screamed in that big giant room, because I know how little my vote means generally. To get one thing out of it, I'm delighted. I'm happy to get one thing out of my vote. Today, I'll go ahead and say I will go on air and advocate for. I'll tell people why I'm advocating for them. I will vote for, and I will endorse, and I will even contribute to the campaign of whomever pardons one of these crypto prisoners. It doesn't have to be Ian Freeman, whether it's one of the Romans or what's the other samurai guy? Keone. Yeah. Whomever they are, I'll vote. If we freeze any one of these crypto POWs, I would love that. But one would be sufficient for my vote and my endorsement and my support.
And I want to also close with what else can you do? You can donate and support some of these guys for their tremendous legal fees. Roman Storm, who we haven't spoken about yet, Roman Storm created Tornado Cash, which is essentially the Ethereum version of Samurai Wallet or Bitcoin Fog, which is what Roman Sterling obviously is for, even though he didn't actually create Bitcoin Fog. Roman Storm has paid $10 million in legal fees. $10 million, and there was a hung jury, and the prosecutor, in an almost unprecedented move, said, "We're going to retry your case again." So he's going to fork over another $10 million. And the pardon attorneys, who I love and appreciate, and I work closely with all these pardon attorneys, they cost a lot more money too. So millions and millions of dollars to try to stay out of prison when you didn't hurt anyone. And then as we've seen, over the last year, people who are actively murdering people on trains and things, and totally unreformed and unrepentant, just revolving door. So they need help, Lauren and her husband are still over $1.5 million in debt? Yeah. So, maybe that's something that we can close on. This community needs to support each other. The Ethereum community really showed up for Roman Storm, which I appreciate. The Bitcoin community needs to do a little bit more heavy lifting when it comes to Lauren's husband. They're millions of dollars in debt. They really need help. Ian and Roger Bear are two of the most generous people I know. They've been a huge supporter. I want to thank Roger Bear, by the way, for sponsoring this event tonight. Roger Bear is all the time when Roger and Ian, they're like, "How's everybody doing? How are the other cases? How's Roman Storm? How's Roman Sterling?" It's the people in this community who care, really, really care a lot. But Lauren, why don't you tell us how we can help you? If you are interested in those two things, signing our pardon, which is, signing our petition calling for presidential pardon, or donating, you can go to billandkeone.org. That's billandkeonne.org. And there you can find links to do both of those. I'm so grateful for all this and for all.
And there will be flyers going around, the next few days, with the QR codes of all the different prisoners. So you can go to their websites and learn more about them. For those.
Please fill out those postcards. We really need you.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We're gonna take a short 5-minute break and then we're gonna do our final panel on Bitcoin and freedom. So stick around. Thank you, guys.
Oh, let me get my phone. It's fine. It doesn't matter. No, it's fine for now. We're yeah. We just need to talk for 2 minutes, and then we'll go
back to the next.
Then we'll go back to the next speaker. Yeah. All right. Welcome to the Bitcoin Bash here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, at the Libertarian National Convention of 2026.
Yeah.
Who are the speakers we just heard, Nick?
Yeah. So who we heard from on a panel moderated by Angela McArdle was Mark Edge from Free Talk Live, Lynn Ulbricht, mother of Ross Ulbricht, and Lauren Rodriguez, wife of Keone Rodriguez.
Yeah, and they were talking a lot about some of the pardons that Trump could potentially do this coming year, and as well as some of the legislation that could be passed this coming year. We also heard from, who did we hear from again on the phone call?
Roman Sterlingoff, another Bitcoin prisoner.
Yeah, talk a little closer to it since it's a little loud in here, so the audio is not going to be perfect tonight. So apologies for that. But
that's what happens when you go live on scene, right?
That's what happens when you go live on scene and you weren't prepared to do so.
But we figured it'd be a fun shake-up to the show, especially being able to stream these panels in.
Heck yeah.
We're going to have one more panel coming up in a couple minutes.
Yep, we'll have one more panel, and then we'll start getting some guests on here to interview 5 minutes at a time, basically. And we'll have our friend Kat Hartley from the new show that comes out in the next month, Free Girl Theory. She'll be on here interviewing these guests with us. So we're excited about it. Yeah, it's not our normal programming tonight. We just happen to be on a Thursday night. We're up here in Michigan at the Liberty Conference.
Yeah, and we thought instead of coming to you from the media row, let's do it from a cool event going on.
Yeah, and it's pretty sick. Anybody who is up here in Grand Rapids watching this right now and isn't in the room, get your butts over here. I don't know what you're doing. I do know there are a couple other events happening at this exact moment.
Yeah,
but
there's also some good events coming up the rest of the weekend. I think the big one Saturday night, we have Enemy of the State Bash. I believe Afro Man's going to be there. Some of the speakers we saw tonight are going to be there. So if you're in the area, come out to that. That's going to be a great time.
Heck yeah, that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, we're about to head back to another panel. So we're going to pause for now, and we'll get you all that panel live here in just a couple minutes. So Nick. Sweet.
Talking into microphone 1. You hear it? Good. Talking into microphone 2. Yep. Looking good. Okay.
You should easily make it through this next one on this battery. 80% of the computer will get for a couple hours there. We'll have to swap this out. I didn't get a spare battery. You can hold this, please. You hold it. She said,
Hey guys, we're gonna get our last panel started in like 2 minutes. Grab drinks, grab a glass of the food. Food is disappearing. Thank you for that. It was paid for, so you should eat it.
All right, y'all. This is tough.
Food, find your seats.
There we go. Nope. There we go. Okay, we're waiting on the next panel to start. I didn't want too much dead air because there was a lot just then. This camera is so zoomed in. That is bizarre. That's okay. No, it's okay. My wife's offering to hold it further back, but you're only going to hear me for another couple seconds. Yeah, it's a pretty big crowd here, y'all. We are at the Bitcoin Bash here in Grand Rapids. It's a ton of fun. There's a lot of folks here. Dance floor, good times. And it's all about Bitcoin. It's all about crypto and economic freedom, economic liberty, things that most people take for granted and rely solely on the fiat system that we live in today, where your labor, your hard work slowly degrades over time. And we're here to help introduce a new kind of currency to the world and a better way to store your money, a better way to keep the hours that you labor, keep the value of those, and provide for your future. So that's kind of a big building block of Peaceful Sea Network and Liberty Libations is Bitcoin specifically. All the other cryptos are trash, in my opinion. Forget every single other cryptocurrency there is. There's only one that's worth keeping, and it is Bitcoin. And there are so many reasons that's the case, and we've gone over them, and we will go over them some more. So we're about to get started here in just a second. And yeah, for now, stick around. We got a really good panel coming up, and then we got some more interviews, or we got some interviews coming up after the panel with we're trying to get Lynn Ulbricht. We've got some people running for office in certain states. And yeah, we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Later. What? Sweet. Yeah. Nice. Do you use the real Bitcoin? I think it's real. Shit. That was very nice. I love that you thieved for me. Come on here. We're gone? I have to get convention tonight. I'll make it up there. I don't know. Oh, yeah, no, I'll have to. 7:30 credentialing, and then the show starts at 10.
Stage. Paging Mark, Mike, and Jim. Paging Mark, Mike, and Jim to the stage. There's beautiful faces. Really
Got it.
Everybody else, find your seats. This is our last panel of the evening, and then I will get to your drinking, snacking, and dancing. Come on, people. Yeah, come on up. And I am going to go to the back of the room and shame you all into sitting down. I know you're drinking and chatting and having a great time. Mark, feel free to be open.
Thank you very much. So I want to welcome these gentlemen and put the sponsors, most important part of the event. So I want to welcome these gentlemen up here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and freedom. And gentlemen, if you know, let's have a seat. And if you'll introduce yourselves.
I'm Mike Smith. I've got Liz Toshi run a monthly meetup. We're at a Libertarian conference out there after our conference. Yeah, so look it up on Google Maps, Apple Maps. We're right there.
Hey guys, my name is Jim. I'm a startup founder. I focus on Bitcoin, AI, privacy, and freedom.
So what we have here is the whole purpose of this event is some guys that are currently locked up for selling Bitcoin, using Bitcoin, and these sorts of things. And can you tell us how we can use Bitcoin in order to promote freedom?
Well, first of all, that's a great question. I want to comment on phone call with your husband, Tony Rogers. Okay. Well, I was thinking about the phone call with Ross in 2021 Bitcoin when they played that live. And I don't think there was a dry eye in that conference hall when that phone call was played. And I was sitting there, I was at that, and I heard that after that phone call he made, that he was put in solitary, put in the dungeon, the tank, whatever, like treated so inhumanely for what he said. And I was trying to figure out, what did he say? Well, first of all, what did he do to even get in there in the first place? And what did he say to get super max penalty? And that was really heartbreaking. And I became a big advocate for Ross, and I met Lynn, and I saw her driving determination to fight for his freedom, which I don't think would have happened without her, but it's a great indication of what one person can do. And don't give up, because this is just so wrong. Like, and thank God that you did what you did. And I remember, and I got to know Lynn fairly well, and we were in El Salvador having lunch or dinner there on the ocean with Martha. I was talking, and I went down the rabbit hole on Ross's case, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the biggest corruption that I've ever seen. What they've done to him, if the whole world knew this, he would be out immediately. We just need to publicize it. And Lynn told me, like, no, we can't do that, because if we publicize it too much, we're going to put him back in the hole. And I was like, oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? Like, wow. So we've got this injustice that we can't point out because they're going to torture him. Like, that was just blew me away. I was so wrong. And, but we stuck with it, you know, got to a better day, and thank God for that. It was huge. And, you know, that's where we're going.
The question was, how does Bitcoin help with freedom? Okay, Bitcoin is the second amendment of money. And what that means is you can take responsibility for your financial safety or family's financial safety, regardless of whatever promises the government or clown world makes. You can take responsibility for it. And to me, it's three things. It's freedom from the basement. It's the ability to store value in a currency that can't be debased, and not have to worry about, once again, what clown world is doing. I don't have to worry about gambling in the stock market. I can stack Bitcoin and protect my family's dignity from having their labor debased. So freedom from debasement is freedom from censorship. So I can be my own bank. I can run my own node as long as I can write down 12 words and download an app. I can send Bitcoin without anyone being able to stop me, without the arbitrary dictates of bureaucrats or the government. And then the third is freedom from surveillance. That's privacy. If used correctly, Bitcoin can allow you to send transactions privately without the Palantir and watching your move.
And let me add to that, because Bitcoin defunds these politicians that enforce all these rules and these policies. So that they need the fiat machine to keep them funded. And without that, with Bitcoin, with a currency that can be created from nothing, with people that have it, and then needing to get it, and then not willingly giving it up, they're not going to get funded anywhere near as easily as they get funded with the currency that they are able to create. So the only way you're gonna stop them, the only way you're gonna slow them down is to take their funding away. That's the bottom line. Like, if you're looking for the next politician that's gonna like make this big change and make everything great, whatever, it ain't happening, okay? You need to defund these people. That's the only way this is gonna happen. And Bitcoin defunds them because they can't create it out of nothing.
I think it was 2014, might have been 2013, Ian Freeman, my co-host, please fill out those postcards and advocate for his freedom and the rest of the crypto prisoners of war. We were asked if we would like to be founding members of this organization called Bitcoin Not Bombs. And we happily put up some money for Bitcoin to fund this organization and get it started. And here's the reason. In 1942, when the government wanted to prosecute its war, it came to the American people and it said, buy war bonds, plant a garden, give us your nylons, and a variety of other things. It asked something because it needed something. In 2002, when George Bush, the Jr., was asked, what can we do as Americans to help with the war on terror? Remember back then when everybody was excited about that thing? He answered, go shopping. Something fundamentally changed in the United States and global currency between 1942 and 2002 in 60 years. Now, you guys can read up on the Breakboard Reports and the picture from Jekyll Island, and you can do all that stuff, and I'm sure many of you have. But Bitcoin was created to directly address this issue, just as we were told right here. It was directly to address peace in our time. Because, look, I'm not saying that there's no war that ever needs to be prosecuted in the history of man. But what I'm saying is that the politicians should come to us supplicating on bended knee and asking for our money to prosecute that war, rather than just running the printing machine and then taxing our great-grandchildren. When I say our great-grandchildren, I don't think I'm exaggerating. The United States hasn't been out of debt since Andrew Jackson. We are currently paying on debt that has been rolled over and rolled over since the Civil War. Those people, there's not a single one of them alive. You are their great-grandchildren. You are their great-great-grandchildren. And they are taxing you to pay for their war. The idea that we would do it, it's immoral. I don't want to tax your great-grandchildren for whatever war I might think is justifiable. Cryptocurrency requires these liars and thieves to come to us and ask for our money.
So like, we were talking about the topic of this, and it's Bitcoin is freedom money. And so I'm a contractor, and I have been for over 35 years. So had a lot of people work for me and paid a lot of people. And I see how the system works from the inside. And like, none of my guys make enough money. I'm glad none of them do. They don't make enough like for what they do, but what they do make is like half of it is taken by the system. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Like, if I have somebody that makes $1,400 for 1 week, it costs me $2,000 to pay him because I gotta pay Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment, liability, all this shit that I gotta pay on top of it, right? So if he makes like $1,400 for the week, it costs me $2,000, but he takes home $1,000. So there's $1,000 missing out of what he earned, and he's got to earn that $2,000 for me to keep him employed, right? So half the money that he is generating in value is getting taken from him, and he doesn't realize it, right? Like, no, this is like such a stealth theft from everybody that works. This goes for everybody who gets a W-2 paycheck, right? Like, half the money that you generate is being taken by the government. And then, that's only the beginning of it, because when you take what's left for you and you go to the store and you buy the goods and services that you need, there's all kinds of taxes. There's sales taxes, and there's fuel taxes to get into the store. All kinds of taxes involved in that. Like, if you actually evaluated all the taxes in your paycheck and what it takes to get through your life, it's massive, and people don't realize that. With Bitcoin, that flips all the way around, and they can't do that. And that's such, nobody realizes that when they make the rules, right? And I'll tell you something about how they make the rules. Like, if I'm late on, and I pulled up, we do our annual conference, I pulled this up last year, like, where I was late by like 3 days on a $5,000 payroll tax deposit, and they find interest, whatever it was that I had to pay on that $5,000 for like 3 days, was more money than they paid me when I had overpaid by $60,000 for 9 months. It took them to pay me back that money. The interest they paid me was less than they fined me for 3 days at $5,000. Like, they make the rules. You don't make the rules. Like, when I first saw this, I thought, well, I'm going to call up and point this out, and we're going to get this stuff fixed. Now, that ain't happening. Like, you call up and you're not. And I had this guy on the phone. I'm like, do you think this is fair? Like, they got like 1,000% interest on me for 3 days, but you're paying me less than 1% interest. Is that fair? She's like, no, that's not fair. Look, I got to keep my job. They brainwash these people into running this system, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. And that's where you're at. And that's the bottom line. And you got to realize that. Bitcoin frees you from that. And you got to realize that. And it takes a while to go down the rabbit hole to figure out why that's the case, but you need to do it.
There's a saying in Bitcoin that if you fix the money, it'll fix the world. And I want to push back on that a little bit. It's working exactly as designed. This money is slave money. It's working exactly as designed. It's just a shell game, and it's hard for people to parse out how it actually works. But fundamentally, it's just usury. And people say it's theft. I would argue it's theft with labor, which is more like slavery. They get you to work your W-2 for however long, and they expropriate from that labor for your taxation. But on top of that, there's the inflation tax, there's the war tax, there's the slush fund for bureaucrats and NGOs tax. That's being expropriated from you without your knowledge, because there's 50 layers of shell games, and you just don't have the education to parse that out because you don't have a degree in finance. But it's really quite simple, where they're printing money for nothing and loaning it out to you at interest. It's they didn't create value, they didn't create actual value in the system. They increased the supply of dollars without increasing the things that you can buy with it. So Bitcoin is a way of opting out and saying, fuck you, I don't want to play this game. I want to play a fair game.
Yeah, I tell my guys, like, you know, you guys went to work all week and you generated this much in actual value. Like, you guys all generated $2,000 worth of value, each of you, all week. And you got paid for that. You go buy goods and services for your family with that money. But your politicians and central bankers printed that same amount like that by hitting one key on the keyboard. And they get to buy the exact same amount of goods and services that you had to work all week for. So your work holds up, and these people are worthless. Like these politicians that we have and these central bankers, they're basically completely worthless. They have no skill set. They can't do anything producing good or service or value that somebody's going to pay for. They need to be able to expropriate money from you going to work all week, every week, to be able to maintain their living standard. And you need to realize that Bitcoin opts you out of that system.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think that the solutions here are, please sign those postcards. We need every one of them that we can get. And these gentlemen, if you catch them afterwards here, we'll be happy to show you how. I recommend the Edge wallet, but you guys can use any variety of wallets to begin holding cryptocurrency. And from what I can tell, we're still early. Any ideas on that, gentlemen?
We are super early. Like, I've been Bitcoin for a long time. And I thought Bitcoin was at $3. I didn't buy it until it was $1,800. Like, I paid 600 times more for Bitcoin from the first time I started following it till when I actually bought it. And I thought I was way too late. And, you know, now that doesn't sound so bad. It's no different. We are less than 1% adoption on Bitcoin right now. You are getting ahead of 99% of the rest of the world right now buying Bitcoin. This is your greatest opportunity. Take advantage of it. You're not going to get a second chance.
Every one of us in this room has one of two choices. You can either buy into a system that hates you and wants to exploit you, or you can buy into a system that respects you, respects your sovereignty, respects your property rights, and buy into Bitcoin. And so my advice is, if you're new to Bitcoin, educate yourself, start networking with Bitcoiners, go to a conference, see if there's a local meetup, and get something to play around with it. You don't have to go all in. You can download Strike, start buying, $100, $50 a month, nothing crazy. Start accumulating it, start paying attention to it, start learning about it, and opt out of this system that hates you and wants to exploit you.
Great advice. Get on dollar cost averaging buy program, buy every week, every month. I buy every day. My son buys every hour of every day. So, like, get on a dollar cost averaging program, set it, forget it. You won't have to work for very long.
And if you have a portfolio, it's beginning to seem like Bitcoin ought to be part of it. Now, I'm not telling you to make it 50%, but it seems like 1 or 2% is a pretty reasonable thing to do at this point. Again, you have to make your own financial decisions. There are no experts out there; they're just liars. So, make up your own mind. But it seems like Bitcoin is here to stay. So, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and your attention.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Those of you who are delegates, credential starts at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. You don't have to be there that early, but you can be. Don't wait until the last minute, whenever that is. Don't do that. No. Grab some swag bags on the way. Bitcoin crypto party Saturday night. We were all invited to the enemies of the state party, and we will see you there. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Yes, lined up. Okay. Oh, I'd love to get Lynn on. Let's go. Hi, everyone. We're back after a couple good panels there. Kat, what did you think about that?
I enjoyed listening to them a lot. I don't know anything about Bitcoin, so I don't have a lot of expertise on it, but definitely love listening to Ross Ulbricht's mom talk about him and the people that still need to be freed from prison for crimes that were not bad.
Yeah, victimless crimes.
Victimless
Yeah, we're
crimes.
gonna have to get you up to speed on
Victimless
Bitcoin.
crimes.
Once you get
Heck
your
yeah.
show going, we'll
Yeah.
I'll have to come on and I'll have to give you a rundown.
Love it.
Between me and Jake. But I think we have a
All
special
right,
guest.
we're gonna have a
coming
guest here in just a second. Nick,
on. Maybe it's a couple
click the
special
we'll be right
guests.
back.
What? Lauren.
Right here. Beautiful. Yeah, it'll just be a quick 5-minute interview. We'll ask you some questions. She might have some questions. We'll see. She knows nothing about Bitcoin, so this is not her world. So yeah, you have any questions before we get started? Awesome. Let's do it. Literally.
Yep, that is true.
There's no other reason.
And I was so happy that when I saw that release.
Yeah, we're ready. All right, we are here with Miss Lynn Ulbricht,
legend
Ross
herself.
Ulbricht's mother. Worked extremely hard trying to get her son out of prison, which happened at the beginning of Trump's presidential term this past year. Yeah, Lynn, so good to meet you. So good to see you. Give the mic to her.
Yeah, first though, I want to say congratulations on Ross having a kid. That's amazing. Well, yeah, getting him, but yeah.
The first time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit heavy, but you can. There we go.
Yeah, I had given up on that,
Yeah, was that shocking news to the family, or was that expected?
Well, once he was out, he was married.
Yeah.
Then we were, with high hopes.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter the other day, and
I know.
we were all very happy for him. That's
Thank you.
very, very cool. Yeah, how does it feel to be an upcoming grandmother?
It all feels like a miracle, honestly. That I felt like the odds of him being free were so. I always had faith, and I was never going to give up. But it feels like a miracle. It really does.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
The odds just seemed extremely stacked against you.
But that just shows that we can't give up.
Yeah.
I can't give up on some of these other prisoners now.
Yeah.
Like your next guest.
Yes, her husband. Yeah.
Lauren's husband, Keone, and his partner, Bill, the samurai guys.
Yep.
They just wanted it. They're just for privacy.
Yeah.
I didn't know privacy was a crime. You know?
We didn't know that either until
Yeah.
like 2020. Then we started figuring it out.
Yeah. So my thing is, do not, people who are not dangerous. Prisons are there to protect us from dangerous people. And Ross will say, we need prisons. There are people he met in there that are very dangerous people, and they really, at least at this point, we need to be protected from those people.
Yeah.
But nonviolent people who are not going to hurt you,
Yeah.
why are we spending billions of dollars to keep them in cages?
Yeah. No
It
kidding.
seems really like a throwback. It's like the dungeon system. Couldn't we come up with something better in the 21st century than dungeons?
Right?
Seriously, it's the same philosophy.
It really is.
correction.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm doing is Mothers Against Cruel Sentencing to call attention to this, because it's not American. It's actually violation of the Eighth Amendment of the Bill of Rights, which
Mhm.
prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. And even sentences that are not exorbitant, like Ross was a death sentence, essentially.
Yeah.
Lauren's husband, Keone, and his partner, Bill, he got 5 years. But 5 years out of their life is impactful.
Yeah.
They want to start a family. They want to have a life together. And he shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And you don't know how long that is actually going to be in comparison to your actual life, because no one knows how long they're
That's
going to
true.
actually live. So,
That's a very good point.
yeah. So, like, what percentage that might be, who knows? But it's too much, no matter what it is.
Right.
We watched you for 13 years running around helping your son, and you're still out here doing stuff. So,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit more
must
about
be-
what you were just talking about, the Mothers Against?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was I just kept hearing from other people, and mothers especially, but others whose kids were, it's just too much. These sentences are too long, too
Yeah.
punitive. And so I just can't forget about it. So I am trying to shine a light on it, talk about it,
Yeah.
and have people understand what's going on in our country. It's not right. It's unconstitutional. And it puts us all in peril,
Yes.
because it could be any of us, really.
That's the
And-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that you like as libertarians, we try to tell that to people. Like, it could be you, even though they say they're doing nothing wrong. Like, they arrest people who are doing nothing wrong all the time. And like that's not unheard of.
3 felonies a day is that book.
3 felonies a day. Yeah, we reference that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have a question for her?
So are y'all just handling cases having to do with crimes with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or are you guys handling other types of crimes that have, gross and unusual punishment? Yeah, well, no, I think that any nonviolent crime deserves that attention. It's not just crypto. It happened to be, I was at the Bitcoin conference and now I'm at this event, but it's not only crypto. I learned about a case of a man who got a life sentence for stealing 2 jackets. And he's in the record. I mean, the ACLU took up his case. I mean, this is happening. Or like there's close to 3,000 people serving long sentences or life for marijuana, for cannabis. That's insane. They're not dangerous people, and so it's not just, it's across the board. There's all kinds of things. Non-violent, it's like, look, there's lots of ways to have people be corrected. It's supposed to be correctional, the system. They can wear ankle bracelets, they can have home arrests, they could do, community service, they can pay back. But
that brings up another thing, the home arrest, because there's children. I met so many children in there, and they're suffering. These kids are suffering. Their parents are. It's like it's hurting these kids and the other members of the family, like our family. There's all kinds of repercussions on the family and the communities.
Yeah,
it's not right. It's very casual. It seems like that, oh, well, put him away. He did this. And it's like, this isn't right. And people make mistakes. I mean, I've said to many legislators, I said, so is anyone in this room can say that they didn't make a mistake in their mid-20s? Like when that's Ross's age when he created, and they're all like, oh, no, oh, ha, ha, I wouldn't want to talk about that, and I'm like, exactly. We all have.
Yep. Nick, we got time for one more question.
I'm trying to think what I can say. It's an honor having you here. No, like Jake said, we followed what you did for a while there. Supported Ross any way we could, and seeing him out, made us incredibly happy. And seeing how, like I said, now he's got a kid on the way. I mean, that's got to feel like a complete miracle. Something you probably never expected to happen the day you got sentenced. And now I had to imagine it's just an amazing feeling.
It really is. And it gives me hope. I mean, it's hope for others as well,
One more question. What is Ross's attitude like these days?
Well, he's so happy to be free. And he doesn't take it for granted. He's very, he's very appreciative. He's so grateful. He's kind of cocooning. He's living, he's living a quiet life.
Yeah.
And kind of, getting used to it all.
Okay.
And appreciating it. But yeah, it's good. He's very happy.
So I imagine it would make a lot of people very bitter and angry and not okay. So it's good to hear that he's
like
doing
that
okay.
At all.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him at Bitcoin conference last year, and he seemed great right off the bat. Yeah. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn, I really appreciate you sitting down with us for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And keep doing what you're doing. We'll keep watching and appreciating it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's help those other guys.
Heck yeah.
You talk to Lauren next. She's,
Yeah, we're gonna get her on in just a second.
Yeah, that's
all right. Thank you very much, Nick. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. It's so good to meet you.
Thanks for all your support. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So happy he wanted this work.
Yes.
Very worried. It wasn't the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I met him actually, in October, right before January, and he said, "I'm gonna do it. I'm not convinced. I'm to do this.
I think he made up for it from changing it to a full pardon from a commutation. I mean, yeah, we were happy. We were happy to hear of a commutation, and he came out. Then Angela's telling me, "Oh, it's going to turn into a full pardon." I'm like, "Oh, that's the best outcome of the story." Then. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Georgia, yeah.
Are we on pause right now, or do I need to?
Yes, don't ask.
Yeah, okay. No, I didn't know, but I was sitting there.
Yeah, you'll handle this mic.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give it. You can go ahead.
You want to hold it? However we want to do it.
Yeah.
We've only got two, so we got to a little bit.
And you kind of got to hold it a little close to your mouth.
It's loud in here.
It's loud in here.
Very
Yeah. Fortunately, I think they turned it down a little bit. So, yeah, just a quick little 5-minute get to know you, what's going on, and that kind of stuff. 'Cause we know what's going on, but they definitely don't. All right, you ready? All right, we've got another special guest. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Lauren Rodriguez. I'm the wife of Keone Rodriguez, who is currently serving a 5-year federal prison sentence for his development of Samurai Wallet.
Samurai Wallet. All right, so we just talked to Lynn Ulbricht, who's the mom of Ross, who we followed her story for like 13 years, the whole saga, like all of it. And a lot of the world got to know Ross over those 13 years. It hasn't been quite as long for y'all yet. But how did it all start and what's happening like right now?
So Samurai Wallet was a non-custodial open source Bitcoin wallet that had some added privacy features. Keone and his co-founder Bill developed it and ran it for 10 years. You could download it from Google Play. That all changed on April 24th, 2024, when our home was at a pre-dawn raided by the FBI. It was surrounded. We were told to come out with our hands raised. We had multiple laser sights on our chests from rifles. There was an MRAP. They flew a drone through our front door. And this, we found out later, was all simultaneously also happening to his partner, Bill, in Portugal. So an international coordinated raid for developing, again, non-custodial open source Bitcoin wallet. It was shocking because they were following the guidance put out by FinCEN, who's the regulator in charge of money service businesses. And we found out further into the case that our prosecutors, actually before indictment, asked FinCEN whether we were in violation of any laws, and FinCEN said emphatically no, they're not, and yet they brought charges anyways. So this is just a complete case of lawfare. This was the federal government coming after innovators and developers, not for anything they did, but for the actions. They said that there was users who were bad or doing things criminally. Didn't know of any specifics, and they never even alleged that there was any kind of communication or knowing of any specific crimes. It's a complete attack on freedom and on, you can kind of extrapolate how this could be applied to messaging apps or VPNs or Tor network. Has really broad-reaching applications.
No kidding. All of that firepower just for non-violent, non-crime, technically speaking. That's wild. Like what? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, I just want to say that's an absolutely absurd story, right? I mean, you're talking about a software developer and having the FBI raid your house. I mean, guns drawn. Like, that's absolutely wild and should not be happening. There was no threat of violence there, nothing, right? Like, that's, to me, just absolutely infuriating.
Yeah, and these laws that they, said that there are 2 conspiracy charges that they say we violated. These were novel precedents. So to go after one non-custodial, so they never held any users' funds, but like a bank or a Western Union or someone who does hold customers' funds, like if they are found, there's suspicion that they might be violating these laws, they'll get warnings and notices. And then if they are charged, it's corporately and civilly, not criminally. And then if there are punishments, like a bank, if they are found to be violating any of these laws, it's done, they receive a fine. They're not putting the CEOs or CTOs in prison for years. It's so outrageous.
Yeah. So when did his sentence start and how long does he have left?
So he's been in for over 5 months.
Okay.
Had to go in December 19th, so just before Christmas.
Wow.
And his sentence is 5 years. Bill got 4 years.
What was the differentiation between those two? Like why 5 and 4?
Bill, because he was originally arrested in Portugal, where he lived, spent a few months in a Portuguese jail, medieval Portuguese jail, where had all kinds of human rights violations. He's also, I believe, 70 now. So I think maybe the judge took that into account. The judge really hated Keone. She brought up his libertarian ideologies against him, as these judges like to do. So anyone who was in the courtroom really, it was palpable. You could feel her disdain for him. She maxed out his sentence and the fine. If she could have given him life, I think she would have.
Wow. That's so wild. That just beliefs outside of the actual physical crime of what you're supposedly committing can be factored into the equation is ridiculous and definitely a violation of all sorts of human rights and the Constitution in so many ways. What has it been like for you since this has happened? Because I know it looked like you were very friendly with Lynn there. Have you found like a group of people that has been helping you with this kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's been right. The silver lining, the blessing in all of this is just the amount of people that have come out, people that I knew before in my community, but then also new people that I've met, and Lynn being such a shining example of just really kind of surrounding us with love and support. Lynn Ross is free. She could be enjoying her time with her, soon to be grandbaby on the way. But she's out here coming to these things because she sees the injustice. She sees how, the justice system in America has been weaponized against Ross and now us and others. And so, she's not just sitting silently by. And so it's been such a blessing for everyone that has come out and supported us, and so grateful for that.
That's awesome. What would you, it's a little known case to a lot of our people who follow us, and not a lot of people know about it in the same way they did Ross. So what would you how would you tell them to go about looking into these kinds of things and your case in particular?
Yeah, so you can go, I'll point out two websites that if you would like to go to. There's billandkeone.org, and that they can read a bit about the case, sign the petition calling for a presidential pardon, as well as donate if they're willing to. It's greatly needed. And then there's also freesamurai.com, and that has any of the public court documents have been listed there, as well as a lot of media appearances. So you could really kind of, if you're someone who likes to do a deep dive into cases, the information's there. Then feel free to reach out to me. Happy to argue with you if you have problems on X.
Are y'all in talk with the Trump administration right now for a pardon?
Well, President Trump did say his name before they went in when he was asked about it at a press briefing. We have a pardon application in. It's at this point trying to raise awareness. The president's a very busy man, and trying to get on his agenda takes people talking about it, takes it becoming a topic that's out there. So hoping to soon.
Yeah. Y'all have any questions before we go?
No, I think I'm good. I did have the chance on one of the calls Angela arranged for Mises Caucus organized to hear from Keone right before he went in. So that was a nice experience to hear directly from him on a call like that.
Heck yeah. Well, I really appreciate you sitting down with us and chatting for a few minutes, and we're going to keep getting the word out there for you and keep supporting you in any way we can.
I think we've talked about it before, right, on the show?
What's that?
I think we talked about this before on the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've talked about this. We've talked about this, Roman, all the guys. Yeah, everything that's been going on.
Unfortunately, there's a lot out there, so yeah.
Yeah, way too much. There's way too much for us to cover. We'd like to not have to do this ever, but we do it all the time because there's always things going on. Well, Lauren, thank you again. Appreciate it.
So much.
Awesome. That's great. I appreciate it. That was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. You want me to see who I can grab, or you want me to see if I can grab someone? Or Or you just want to sign off, or you want to bullshit a little bit before we sign off?
Bullshit for a couple minutes.
Martyr. He's a martyr.
Thank you, Lauren.
Trump is going to be releasing a cryptocurrency on our 220 or 200. What's the anniversary of our country?
Yeah.
There's an anniversary coming up, and he's coming up. He's going to be
Great.
a big point on the day.
I'm so excited about it. All right, we're gonna vamp for a couple minutes, then we're gonna sign off.
And do our thing. Jared's gonna ask us trivia questions.
Are we back? Are we back? Sweet. All right, we're back, everybody. They're wrapping up here behind us. They're packing up the stage. They're breaking everything down. So we're gonna get out of here in just a second. But Kat, I'm interested. You know nothing about Bitcoin. What has been the highlight of tonight for you?
The highlight was watching the guy in the pink sunglasses sit stoically for 20 minutes. I don't know if you guys saw that.
We did see it.
Yeah, he was on something, and we support that.
So Kat thinks he was on some type of drugs. Which could be the case. We are at a libertarian convention, so it definitely could happen. My highlight was definitely talking to Lynn Ulbricht.
That's what I was gonna say. That was
freaking absurd.
That's a huge guest and someone I think we wish we could get on at some point, and we were able to just run into her here.
Yeah, we talked about her like 4 years ago when we started this show. We were like, we need to have Lynn Ulbricht on this show at some point. Finally happened.
We finally did it.
Yeah, Nick, what are you looking forward to most about the next 5 days?
Jeez, I think that Enemy of the State Bash is going to be a good time with Afro Man. I think we need to talk, as I've mentioned before. I think we need to talk about Afro Man and get a partnership going with the Cascade.
We'll work on that.
But besides some of these events, this is a business thing. It's going to be a slog, right? Business is always a slog on these. It's hours of just mind-numbing stupidity.
Yeah.
Because you put several hundred people in a room and say, get stuff done, and you're going to have idiots jumping up to do whatever they want. And
I'm gonna be one of those idiots.
Yeah,
just don't go to
Kat's
a
already one
microphone.
of those idiots.
If you don't go to a microphone, it's fine. If you go to a microphone,
I do. I've written down amendments to the platforms that they're.
It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna get shit done.
But
yeah, I hear you. Fortunately, this year, Nikki and I are alternates, so we don't have to be on the floor unless something happens. I'm very excited about that. It's the first time since I've joined the LP that I'm not an actual delegate. It's wonderful. I get a press pass though, so I get to come down there and mess with you guys whenever I want. It's gonna be great.
I mean, we're gonna be streaming randomly throughout the weekend, right?
We have a whole booth set up, a whole podcast set up out on Media Row. It's going to be great.
We're going to try to get Afro Man on.
We're going to try to get Afro Man on. I doubt that's going to happen though.
We might try.
Kat, come on. Kat, this is your first Libertarian National Convention. What are you most nervous about? What are you most excited about?
So what I'm most nervous about is meeting or maybe bumping into Scott Horton.
We're gonna bump into him.
I know, and if
we're gonna interview him at some point.
And I'm nervous about it.
And I will introduce you. I was
and I might start crying. So if you guys don't want me to cry, you guys gotta warn me beforehand and say hey, he's coming by.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. Well, then I'll have to hide somewhere.
What are you most excited about?
Most excited about? Probably being on y'all's podcast and then also doing stuff for my new podcast.
Our new podcast.
Yes.
What's the new podcast?
The Free Girl
Pitch it.
Theory.
Free Girl Theory.
Yes.
That's right.
So I'm
Pitch
going to
it.
be doing content for it. I'm also going to try to do live streaming on TikTok. But basically, it's going to be kind of a more national coverage of libertarian politics and stuff, and also trying to get more young people into libertarianism. Libertarian philosophy. If you can't tell, I've had a couple drinks.
Yes. It's the end of the Bitcoin bash. We've had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
But this is Liberty Libations. That's what we do.
Exactly.
Things always get silly by the end.
Well, I'm looking forward to all of that. I'm also looking forward to just showing up with Scott Horton right in front of you. I'm very excited about
I will
that.
grab him and be like, Scott, hide behind me, because he's not a very tall man. He will fit behind me without seeing.
Yeah,
and I will
he's like
find
your
you,
height.
and then I will step aside and just have him right there.
Well, y'all, I appreciate y'all
Wait,
tuning
wait,
in.
you want to know
Oh,
my
wait.
biggest fear?
I do want to know your biggest fear, actually.
My biggest fear is one of these insane people getting naked on the stage and
How is
giving
that
us
a fear, though?
another 10 years of dealing with people calling us unserious because of that.
Okay. Well,
People
I
still
think,
bring that
I think
up.
it's likely going to happen. If you can't tell, they're packing up. So that's our cue to leave. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Liberty Libations. We really appreciate it. We'll be doing some live streaming over the next 5 days. So make sure to stay tuned. Turn those alerts on.
Hit the alert button so that you can catch us when we go live. And if you're here, come say hi.
Heck yeah. Nikki, that end live stream up in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click that, and then you're going to click it again, and we're going to see y'all later. Peace, everybody.